Welcome back to another episode aboard SV Holiday. I'm Holly along with Captain Johan. Welcome aboard. So in this episode we are leaving Jost van Dyke in the British Virgin Islands and headed for St. John's. So we are officially back in U.S. territory here at St. John's in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So here on St. John's we are headed for Maho Bay, and it is supposed to be good for snorkeling, so we plan on trying to get in the water and do a little snorkeling while we're here. So the plan is for today, as soon as we get checked in, we are going to head off to Cruz Bay. So upon our arrival here at Maho Bay, we are on the lookout for a mooring ball. We are not allowed to anchor off in this bay area because it is considered a national park. So this is Maho Beach here in St. John's, U.S. Virgin Islands. Here we come. Okay. So as we wait for the taxi to fill up before we head to Cruz Bay, I will tell you a little bit about Cruz Bay. It is the main town here at St. John's. The smaller cruise liners usually anchor off outside the bay and ferry in, and for the larger cruise ships they usually dock at St. Thomas and ferry over. Wow. So we have arrived at Wharfside Landing, and the plan is we're going to have some lunch and do a little bit of walking around the town just to get some exercise for sure, because being on a boat we are limited on our movement, so it always feels good to get out and walk around as much as you can.
Good stuff. Finally, key lime pie.
Been waiting on that. So after lunch we did a whole lot of nothing. We just walked around town, got some exercise in, and ultimately ended up at the far end of the bay that we started out at. So we found us a few chairs, so we just hung out there for an hour or so before making our way back to towards the buses to get ready to go back to Maho Bay. So as we make our way back towards Maho Bay, I thought I would give you a little bit more information about St. John's. It is actually the smallest of the three main islands here in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The U.S. Virgin Islands being made up of St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John's. So St. John's is about 19 square miles and consists of about 4,000 in population. And the population of all the islands combined are around 90,000. There are no airports on St. John's, so you do have to travel by air into St. Thomas and ferry over here to St. John's. And also here on St. John's, you drive on the opposite side of the road than you do in the United States. Even though it is United States territory, they still drive on the opposite side of the road. So we managed to make it back to the boat before all this wind hit, so we are going to settle in for the night and get our cameras charged up and ready for tomorrow's snorkel adventure off of Maho Bay. So our snorkeling adventure went well, except for we did not see much. According to what I read, they usually have a lot of turtles and sea rays, but we did not see any of those on this trip, but there's always next time. So we make it back to Holiday, home sweet home, and we will be spending another couple days here and making our way back towards Puerto Rico, with our next stop being at St. Thomas. So we will be ending this video here. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.